Housing inventory on single-family homes across the U.S. still below pre-pandemic levels, but getting close to it. Okay. Up 5.6% from last year. And last year we had 30+% gains on single-family inventory. So we're up 35, 38% single-family inventory nationally from 2024. Getting close to pre-pandemic levels, 2019 levels of being relatively even. Connecticut single-family inventory is still 70+% less than pre-pandemic levels. So we have near a 60 to 70% swing on single-family inventory levels between what happens nationally and here in Connecticut to the downside. Okay? Here's what months of supply looks like. Months of supply means if no new homes came on the market, that's how many months it would take for all the current inventory, the current homes for sale on places like Realtor.com, wherever you look, to sell. That's what months of supply, months of inventory mean. Those are real estate terms, but that's what it means. You know, how many days would it take for all of the groceries to disappear off the shelves if they stopped stocking them? That's an analogy, okay? So months of supply across the U.S. is just under 4 months on single-family homes. You have places like Naples, Florida. I own a home in Naples, Florida, where it's closer to 10 months. More inventory there. Great time to buy in Southwest Florida. Buyers have the advantage there. They do not have the advantage here. If you're selling in Connecticut and buying in Southwest Florida, you have advantage Connecticut, advantage where you're buying. Very few times you see that. If you got to match up where you're moving. But across the country, it's closer to 4 months. 6 months would be a neutral market, buyers, sellers. So sellers generally still have control across the country, but those Sunbelt states where most of the inbound migration is going to, Florida, Texas, sellers do not have the control. It's much higher than 6 months. But 4 months nationally on the average. Here in Connecticut, the months of supply is 1.5 months. It would only take a month and a half, 45 days from today for all the single-family homes to sell. Okay? It would take an Easter, a Masters, and an NFL draft, and there'd be no more homes on the market. Done. Thank God all three of those things are right around the corner. I guess not. Well, I mean, I guess I should be thanking God that Easter's right around the corner. All my religious listeners be like, you better thank God Easter's around the corner. But I was really talking about the Masters and the NFL draft. What a great time to be alive. If you look at home builders, national home builders, they have 9.8 months of inventory. So almost every market, really every market in America, in every category, new sales, existing home sales, all have way more months of supply, way more inventory than Connecticut. When you see homes are staying on the market longer, homes are, there's more homes available. Those are national topics. Those are not local topics. Here's a big headline that came out. This one from Redfin on the gap between buyers and sellers. Okay, now their data goes back to right at the end of the great financial crisis. I mean, these only go back, their numbers, to about 2013. So it's missing data from 09 to 12. 12 was like the true bottom for Connecticut. It's missing that data on Redfin. But they go back to about 2013 on this. And so they say this is the highest level since 2013, according to Redfin's data. There are nearly 50% more home sellers across the country than buyers, 46.3%. That is a complete flipperoo of what we're seeing in Connecticut. There are way more buyers than there are sellers, which is why we have the 1.5 months of inventory. So be wary of the national headlines. Prices nationally here are moving sideways, basically up, 1% year over year on single family homes. That doesn't even beat inflation. Here in Connecticut, nearing double digits and projected this spring to maybe approach the same, certainly in the median and lower price points.